It was 4 p.m., the moment photographers call the golden hour. Mark was chasing the perfect light, unaware that he had just stepped into the territory of an eastern brown snake. In the reptile world, this snake doesn't warn. It executes. In less than 0.15 seconds faster than a human blink, the snake launched its strike. A tiny prick, 2 small droplets of blood on Mark's ankle, and a brown shadow vanished in an instant. Mark thought it was a mere scratch, but inside his body, an invisible hourglass had begun to empty. He had just 45 minutes before his heart would stop. Then, Mark made the ultimate mistake. He panicked and started to run. He didn't realize that every rapid heartbeat was a high-speed pump, accelerating the transport of death into his vital organs. By running, he had essentially paved the highway for the venom. 10 minutes later, something strange happened. The pain vanished completely. Mark believed the crisis was over, but he had fallen into the trap of the false recovery. At this moment, the venom had left the bite site to launch a silent internal assault. It no longer cared about causing pain. It was heading for the control centers. While the victim thinks he's fine, enzymes are busy turning his circulatory system into a minefield of clots. It is the silence before the biological storm. Soon, the symptoms returned with a vengeance, a piercing headache and intense nausea. 10 minutes later, Mark's vision began to double. Mark collapsed, and his vision disappeared. Why did Mark collapse? Let's look at what this viscous yellow liquid does to human blood. Venom is a complex cocktail of proteins and enzymes. In the case of the brown snake, the attack is twofold. First, hemotoxins. These enzymes immediately activate your blood's clotting factors with terrifying intensity. This triggers thousands of microscopic clots within your vessels. But the true disaster is a condition called venom-induced consumption coagulopathy. Your body consumes its entire supply of clotting factors in minutes. The paradoxical result? Mark's blood became completely unable to clot. He began bleeding internally from his gums and from the original bite site. While the blood system collapses, the neurotoxins begin their siege. To move a muscle, a nerve releases a chemical called acetylcholine to bind with a receptor. The venom acts as an immovable plug, blocking these receptors and cutting the lines of communication. It starts with the eyelids drooping, a condition known as ptosis, then spreads to paralyze the muscles responsible for swallowing and speech. The critical moment arrives when the paralysis reaches the diaphragm. At this point, the lungs stop working. Gas exchange ceases. Carbon dioxide builds up. The blood acidifies, and the heart fails. Mark reached the hospital in a state known as acute tubular necrosis. His kidneys had shut down not due to disease, but because they were chemically suffocated. As the venom broke down his cells, a wave of heavy proteins flooded his system, clogging the kidney filters and turning a filter for life into a graveyard for cells. Mark was injected with anti-venom fighter molecules, meticulously extracted from the plasma of horses that have undergone long-term laboratory immunization. These molecules don't waste time. Once in the blood, they hunt down venom particles and bind to them tightly, physically neutralizing them and preventing them from reaching the brain. The battle inside Mark's veins was fierce. The anti-venom stopped the attack, but repairing the destruction left by the enzymes took weeks in the ICU. Mark stood on the razor's edge, between life and death, before his body finally prevailed. But the question remains, why doesn't the snake die from its own venom? A snake's blood contains specialized proteins called serum inhibitors. Think of them as magnetic shield. The moment a stray venom molecule enters its own blood, these proteins pounce and neutralize it. But that's not all. The snake's nerves are designed differently. While the venom is a key designed to fit a human lock, the snake has chemically altered the shape of its own receptors. The venom circulates through its body but finds nowhere to latch on. It is safely imprisoned within its own chemical fortress. Mark survived, but he learned a hard lesson. Snakes do not hate us. They simply possess a terrifying weapon to defend their world. Thank you for watching.